I lost, and it was an incredible experience and a ton of fun. I actually didn't lose. I got pretty close. This competition that I mentioned I participated in it was the Crown 2, hosted by Super Tech God and his PWROn gaming team, which was incredible. It was a really professional experience and excited me for the future of the competitive space in Marvel Snap. We're going to talk about the decks. We're going to talk about my experience. We're going to talk about the winners and things that I learned by playing against other people in a competitive headspace and how much fun it was, even though I lost. If you are interested in competing, you actually have another chance even if you miss the crown. If you're watching this video before tomorrow, April 25th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, you can still register for another competition that Super Tech God is hosting. You need to go to his Discord, which will be in the description and a pinned comment, and join, and go and register for his Infinite Invitational. You have until tomorrow, April 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time to register. Please go register. It's a lot of fun. The cool thing about this Infinite Invitational, we're celebrating Super Tech God's anniversary of being partner on Twitch. However, it's not restricted to like one day. This past Crown event that I had to be a part of, you had to be available for a few hours on Saturday and Sunday. With this Infinite Invitational, you have a lot more time. You have about 2 weeks, I think it is, maybe 1 week to play your games. So it gives you some options to compete, and it's also free. So go to Super Tech God's Discord. Also go subscribe to him or follow him on Twitch and celebrate him because he really does a lot and gives generously to make this event possible. Before we talk further about my event, the event I participated in, it wasn't my event, this past weekend, the Crown 2, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who subscribed over this past weekend to help me achieve the goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers before my daughter turned 1. At the time of recording, we're currently at 1,020, which is amazing to me that 1,020 people decided to come to my YouTube page with me talking about Marvel Snap and hit subscribe. That is a humbling experience, whether you came from Alex Kosha shouting me out or from Super Tech God himself shouting me out on his Twitch stream and asking people to get me to that $1,000 milestone before the end of the stream and incentivizing them with bundle giveaways. Like, the generosity really amazed me. I'm humbled to be a part of this community and have creators like Super Tech God and Alex Kosha, who I really look up to and admire, speak my name the way they did is a very humbling experience. It's also very humbling to see 1,020 people respond to that invitation and subscribe. Whether that invitation was from me and you were here from my very first Infinite video, that She-Hulk Infinite surprise video, or you responded to the invitation from Alex or Super Tech God, it's equally meaningful to me, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for helping me achieve my goal. I'm excited to be a part of this community because it really is generous and it really is amazing and it's a lot of fun. So let's talk about the event, the Crown that I participated in, even though I lost. Now, truly, I didn't quite lose. It was there was probably about I can actually tell you the exact number of people. There were 39 of us who competed on Saturday. And we competed in Conquest friendly matches against each other. And then the top 8 people, based on their standings, went and competed in the finals on Sunday. And they were actually some really amazing games. I got 9th place by a 3% difference between the person and me and 8th. So just barely didn't make the cutoff. But it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot by playing in this competitive mindset. So I'm going to move myself over to this corner. And be in the space where I normally am when I'm playing and show you some gameplay that I recorded of myself playing these matches. You can see what I did right and what I did wrong while I talk about my experience playing and what it really taught me about playing Marvel Snap. And then I want to talk about the decks and how cool they were to play against. Particularly, actually, the individual who came in second, who I was rooting for to win, had a deck that I thought was pretty amazing. They were actually my first opponent and I had to play against them and lost. It was a lot of fun. So what did I learn about this? It's because I don't think Marvel Snap is positioned and is the type of game that could ever get into the esports landscape like we had this past weekend as well with Marvel Rivals and the Invitational. You know, congratulations to 100 Thieves for winning. I don't think we're ever going to get to like a team-based thing like that. I mean, maybe there's team events. But there absolutely is a space for competitive Marvel Snap. And I think it's quite interesting to see the headspace of people that come in and what 12 cards are they going to select as they go to compete against one another. It's so exciting. And it felt like achievable, which is really interesting. I didn't expect myself to win because I expected to almost be like teched out, that so many people would be running tech cards that I just wouldn't be able to compete. There were tech cards. I'll get to that in a second. That surprised me. But as I played the games, like I mentioned, I got 9th place, which really, really surprised me because I didn't pick particularly strong decks. In fact, one of the gameplays that you're seeing right now, that I won and lost with was an Agatha deck. Like, I just chose decks that I thought would be fun to use in a competition. And, there's so many variables that control this, but it felt like truly, no matter what deck you're choosing, you have a way to compete in Marvel Snap against other players. And that's really exciting. And it's exciting to have a game that allows you to compete in that way and to see who's going to edge out a little bit better, who's going to get there and be the winner. It was a really, really fun event. The best way that I can describe it is that my brother and I, this past weekend, we were also talking about playing Marvel Rivals. I didn't know that the Invitational was happening, but we were talking about how fun it was. He's much better at those types of games than me. I was talking about how when I queue up solo, I just get dunked on because I don't exist within the space of that game very much. I don't know positioning. I don't know, all the terminology and like gameplay, game sense that you need to play that game, because I just don't have the time to invest in that. And so if somebody was like, hey, we're hosting a Marvel Rivals event, do you want to compete? I just wouldn't even try because I know that I couldn't. And now part of that is that I choose to play Marvel Snap. I don't choose to play Marvel Rivals. Of course, if it were a different game, then I was spending more time in, and all of those variables. However, the point still stands that with a game like Marvel Rivals, it feels like there is like regular skill level, and then there is like competitive skill level, and they are forever apart, forever away. And that if you want to compete, you're going to be going against individuals who have such an exponential level of skill that you don't even really stand a chance. I don't know. I've never competed in an event like this before, so I could be wrong. But when I was playing Marvel Snap, it didn't feel like the separation between me and the other people competing was that much. And part of that is the RNG element of a card battler, but it just felt doable. It felt like there was truly room for a competitive space in Marvel Snap, which is interesting to say because ladder is a competitive space. But in like a more tournament-based competitive space, it really feels like it could work, and that there is a lot of people who are hungry for this type of competition in Marvel Snap, because my goodness, my heart was racing, and it was a lot of fun. So it's definitely a thing. Like I mentioned, we have this Infinite Invitational from Super Tech God. He's mentioned that he wants to do the crown again. The way that competitive things happen in a game like Marvel Snap is that if creators and fans make it a thing. And I really admire Super Tech God for being an individual who is making it a thing. I also know that Snap Judgments podcast, if you're a Patreon member, they have their thing as well. Like, that's amazing. That's how things are going to happen. One day, I hope, maybe to continue and contribute to that as well, because it was so much fun, even though I lost, to just be in a mind space of other people who really enjoy Marvel Snap and are competing with me to win. There's something, a little bit of an animosity that exists between me and the person who I'm playing against on ladder. Yes, we are competing. One of us wants to we both want to beat the other person, but there's some weird animosity that develops because I am trying to achieve my goal, and this individual is in the way, and it feels rigged, and all the things that the ladder is frustrating with. Same thing. There's two opponents who are fighting to win, to get a reward. In this case, it's not to reach infinite, but it's to be the winner of this crown event and win a cash prize. Obviously, much more significant than reaching ladder. However, that animosity didn't exist because, we never saw each other face to face, but messing each other on Discord and having to send a code to play against someone and being able to analyze the deck that they were playing beforehand. It felt way different. It didn't feel like I was just being paired up against somebody random that maybe I stand a chance against. Maybe I'm just going to blow them out of the water. Maybe they're going to blow me out of the water. Like, it felt like there was more choice, that there was more intention involved in it. And it felt much more exciting to compete. And there was no animosity. I didn't feel that way. There was no animosity towards the people I was losing or winning against. It just felt like we were people who were equally excited about Marvel Snap and excited for an opportunity to play it in a competitive way and see if we could come out on top. And some people did. Some people didn't. I thought it would be fun now to take a look at these decks. I don't have a lot more to say about the experience besides it was amazing, and if you have an opportunity to participate in the Crown, you should whenever Crown 3 comes around. And if you really want, you have until tomorrow, April 25th at 6 p.m. to register through Super Tech God's Discord for his Infinite Invitational. It's a really, really cool event. Like, Super Tech God's favorite card for the longest time has been Infinite. So here's the rules. You have to compete with Infinite in your deck. No Shang-Chi, no Arishem, no Hela, and no Loki. Like, what an interesting deck building challenge, while also being able to compete competitively in Marvel Snap. What a lot of fun. So again, the details for that will be listed. This is not like an ad for that. I really, really admire and am grateful for someone like Super Tech God who makes these cool events to be able to participate in. And I want other people to have the chance to participate because it was a blast. So let's talk about the decks, and I want to analyze those of the winners. This is pretty cool. The The program that we used was Top Deck, right? And so we all had to submit 2 decks that we would potentially play with in each match. And so when you were paired up against your opponent, you could go in and view the 2 deck lists that they submitted, knowing they're going to play one of these 2 things, which was really interesting, trying to compare, do I play an Agatha deck or do I play my Victoria Hand Clog-ish deck? Which one do I do? And trying to analyze, who's going to compete me. And I got absolutely shut down by Mobius M. Mobius. Which was just brutal. Nonetheless, really, really interesting. If we look at the winner, Abra, again, congratulations, Abra. You did a phenomenal job. If you want to go watch the VOD of those finals, they were really, really good games. They're on the PWROn Twitch. But anyway, Abra, his 2 decks that he brought was a Bullseye discard, like just straightforward Bullseye discard that we've been used to, and then a Scream list. I will have those 2 decks on the screen and included. You can go play those if you want. But again, 2 really strong archetypes, 2 really strong decks that perform strong. And I was surprised that Abra won, not because Abra didn't have the skill. Abra absolutely did. But I was rooting for hyfathur is what their username on Top Deck is. I can't remember the other username. One, they were my first opponent. The very first match. No one has played any matches where we all get paired up with our first partner, and I'm playing against this individual who ends up winning second. And it was a close game. And it was really fun. And their deck just was really, really good. And it felt like it truly had answers to shut everything down. And I was expecting them to win. And I was surprised that the Bullseye deck was still able to perform and go over them. hyfathur also brought in a Bullseye deck, like card for card, the exact same as Abra. However, they also brought a really, really interesting Agamotto deck, which is the one that I want to just talk about briefly. It is really, really interesting. The most prominent tech card, and it's included in this list, and it shut down my Victoria annoying hand deck, as I call it, hard. Like I had no discounts, and I need discounts for that deck to be able to compete. What's really, really interesting is, of course, Shang-Chi, he's everywhere, but Mobius and Mobius was the most prominent tech card. There was no real Cosmo. There was no real Luke Cage. There was no real Eliath. It was pretty much Mobius and Shang-Chi. But, Shang-Chi's like, he's Shang-Chi. Like, we're just in a cheese meta. And of course, you're going to cheese in a competition. But Mobius was just quite interesting. The other tech card that really just made everything so much harder against this deck was Juggernaut. I just want to put some gameplay on the screen. I'm going to stop talking. You will now see me playing against hyfathur. This is a few days ago live when I was playing. You can see the reactions that I had to this deck. It was tough. I'll just include one of the few matches. It was really, really fun. It's a cool deck. I recommend that you go play it. I think it performs incredibly well. It's another option besides the Bullseye one that I feel is a little bit more unique than the Bullseye one while still being really, really strong. Congratulations again to Abra and hyfathur for doing an incredible job and having some good decks that are really fun to play and competitive. Thank you again to Super Tech God for inviting me to this event. Or not inviting, like I wasn't personally invited, but actually he did invite me, for hosting this event and making it a possibility for me and other people to come and join for free and compete for cash. Like, your generosity amazes me. So thanks for hosting the event, and I hope the competitive space in Marvel Snap continues to grow. This is a random video. I was going to, turn this a little bit more into a story and make it a little bit more of an engaging video, but then he announced tonight his Infinite Invitational, and I want to give everyone a chance to go register for that as soon as possible. So enjoy this brief match between me and hyfathur when they ended up kicking my tush, and have a lot of fun on ladder, in Conquest, wherever you are, high voltage, whatever you're playing in Marvel Snap, and we will see Khonshu tomorrow. I cannot wait. My pants are going to blow off. I'm so excited. Anyway. What does that even mean? So, yeah, subscribe for that, and thanks for watching. You being here really means a lot to me, so thank you. So watching back the games against hyfathur, especially the loss, oh man, that is just heartbreaking to watch back again. I play one thing differently, and I win the game, the deciding game where I lost, and I won, and I win against the second place player. Maybe I get in the top 8. Who knows? Who knows what happens? Nonetheless, watching it back, there's something that I realized in the moment that I forgot to say when I was recording this. There are 2 things that I wish I would have done a lot better and more carefully and like less spastically when I was playing. Like, I was so focused on, which card do I play and where do I play it, that I didn't do the simple things that I wish I would have thought about. The first one isn't simple. It's a higher level skill, but the sooner you can learn it, the better you'll be in any setting in Marvel Snap is learn to play around priority appropriately. There were multiple games that I could have really easily and really confidently just played my cards and won, but I don't know if this was intentional by the opponent I was playing against. Obviously, they got second place, so probably they had a Shang-Chi, and then I had a Demon that was usually boosted up to 10 power by Victoria Hand and some other shenanigans that I had going on. And so I had demons that I would play at 10 power, which is huge. Of course you want to play a 10 power demon, but I know they have a Shang-Chi, and they know that I have a 10 power demon. And so I'm trying to do this dance around where are they going to play their Shang-Chi, where if I would have played around priority, which this deck can actually, the deck that I was playing can actually do that reasonably well. If I would have played around priority, I could have just played my cards easily and confidently knowing that I was going to win, but having to dodge their priority made it really, really hard. So it felt like they always gained priority and lost priority at the right moments. So learn how to play around priority, learn how to lose priority and when to in the right circumstances and how that benefits you being able to play. The second thing that isn't the case as part of these matches, I mean, it kind of is. There's a few, like watching back, there's one play line where it's like, why didn't I just do that? I just had to do one thing. That was it. Why didn't I do that? And it's doing the simple math. And this is also true in other games that I played. In fact, like just do the math. Really, really think about it. Think about the interactions. Of course, you only have this time span of a turn, so you can't do every single calculation ever. You're not going to solve everything. But there are a few instances in games where things could have gone differently if I just did the math and just thought about it a little bit instead of thinking about, oh, he plays a Juggernaut and he's going to move my cards. It's like, okay, well, he plays a Juggernaut. That means he's only adding 3 power to that location. Sure, the cards I play there are going to move, but does 3 power make a difference there? And thinking about it that way could have made a difference. Anyway, enjoy this single gameplay and go register for the Infinite Invitational, and maybe I'll play a game against you. It'd be a lot of fun to see you there. Anyway, goodbye again.